What is here at CB Nation? Welcome back to another live stream. This is the CVPC, also known as the Certain Vids podcast. This is another live Q&A that we're doing after quite a while, actually. We haven't done one of these in I believe 2 weeks because we did the Spider-Man debate last week. So chime in, send your questions in, leave a like. It helps out. And I'm going to start off by introducing our guests. First off, we've got AJREACTS returning from last week. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Dude, I'm good. How are you? How's your day been?
It's been pretty good. A little tired, but
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. We've also got special guest Elliot from Movie Files. How are you doing, dude?
Good, man. Good. Glad to be on. I've caught a couple of your lives and honored to be here on one of them, man. Very excited.
Yeah, it is exciting to have you. We've got Cartoon Fan already in the live stream. What's going on, dude? What's going on? Thanks for joining. Those of you, 5 people in the chat right now, smash that like button. It helps the stream out and send in your questions. I'm going to grab my phone because a very frequent loyal subscriber, Max Talks Movies, did send in some stuff. So let's just go through these.
Max always has the questions.
He always has the best questions, man. Jaren Talks Movies stopping by. What's going on, dude?
Jaren,
glad you can make it. I wasn't able to catch your Spider-Man ranking last night, but I did catch it on a replay. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
It was good.
Yep. It's like I don't think I have a single placement that's the same as him. So we do have some very different opinions.
Yeah.
Not a single one. Deluxe Collectibles joining in. What's going on? Filmstock saying, hey, what's up? Catch us with this live. Sorry I couldn't make it on. Yeah, no problems, dude. You do you. And then when the timing works out, we will have you back on. But no, I appreciate you being here, man. All right, let's check out some of Max's questions. First question he had for us is, do you think No Time to Die will hit its release date of November 20th in theaters? What are you thinking, AJ?
Nah, I don't think so.
No?
I think it's going to be postponed until next year. I know it's been rumored that it's coming out next summer, so I think it's probably going to come next summer.
All right, Elliot, you feeling the same thing?
Yeah, like AJ was saying, the Disney analyst came out the other day and said that he predicts that a lot of these theaters will be open in mid-May of midsummer of 2021. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where these big tentpole films, whether it be 007, Wonder Woman, Dune, Tenet, obviously, that they're not going to be able to break nowhere near even if they release their films this year. So, yeah. I think it's just one of those situations where it's unfortunate, but I'm going to have to wait to 2021 to see some of these big films.
Yeah, I know. I was incredibly disappointed when No Time to Die was delayed, and I think there's a very low possibility. I'm leaning towards the fact that it will get delayed again, even though I don't want to admit it. That is what I am thinking. Jaren Talks Movie saying favorite moment from Inception. So we obviously had the watch along last night on Elliot's channel, which was super fun. Elliot, what was your favorite moment from Inception?
I mean, that ending, we talked about it last night, is one of the best endings in cinematic history. So that's definitely one of them. But the practical effects with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's 365 tunnel hallway scene is incredible. Christopher Nolan definitely did an homage to The Shining. He's a Stanley Kubrick fan, so it was kind of his spin of paying homage to that, but obviously adding the sci-fi element. So those are some of my 2 favorite scenes, no doubt.
What about you, AJ? I know that's like one of your favorite movies, AJ, right?
Yes, it's one of my favorite movies. I haven't seen it in a while, and I wanted to make the live stream, but I just couldn't. So I wish I could. But I would probably say I can't really pinpoint it to a specific scene, but I really liked the concept of his wife, like not really knowing if it's a dream or reality. Like that just was like so mind bending to me, and we still don't know really. So yeah, I just really enjoyed that concept.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's a great part of the movie. Filmstock saying, oh, wait, that's the other one. Okay. Will there be a new release in theaters this year? I unfortunately don't think so. I don't think there will either, unless they really want to push Tenet, which I can maybe see, but it's very unlikely.
I doubt it, man. I doubt Tenet will be coming out this year, but I know that Nolan really wants it to come out this year, but
yeah, unfortunately, I do not think there will be A new release. Film Explorel, who was also on the panel last night, stopped by. Thanks for joining, man. Cartoon fan saying, what is the best MCU movie in your opinion? Elliot, what is your favorite MCU movie?
My favorite is Infinity War, but in regards to like structuring of a film, probably Winter Soldier. But my favorite, like I said, is Infinity War.
AJ, I know you disagree with that, don't you?
I just never been a fan of Infinity War as a whole movie, but I guess you can argue that it is structured very well. It's just a little boring to me, but that's just my personal opinion.
So what's the best in your opinion?
The best and my favorite are different. Yeah. I might say I can say easily my favorite is Endgame.
Okay.
But the best, I don't know. You have to come back to me with that. I don't know.
Okay. I'll answer. My favorite is Endgame, and I think the best is probably Winter Soldier. So that's I know you have a hot take with that one, but I don't know. It's amazing, man. Maybe I do like Civil War quite a bit. So maybe it's down to Winter Soldier and Civil War, because Civil War, I think I might like that movie more than most people. So Civil War or Winter Soldier is going to be my pick. Did you come up with something or no?
I think Civil War is better made in my opinion, but okay. That's just me.
That's fair.
Just me being me.
I know you have Elliot. If you don't know, AJ has some of the hottest takes I have ever heard.
I have some hot takes.
That's what's up. Hey, that's the beauty of film, right? Is we all have our different opinions on it, and it hits us on different levels. So that's always awesome. Very true.
Exactly. Very true. Chris saying, "Would you be cool with Pixar's Soul dropping on Disney Plus?" AJ, would you be cool with that?
I talked to Chris about this yesterday, and I feel like I would be okay with Soul dropping on Disney Plus. I probably wouldn't have seen Soul in the movie theater anyway. I don't know. I don't really see a whole lot of Pixar films in the theaters. Probably just like the Toy Story movies like that, but anything else, I'll just catch it on streaming or Blu-ray or whatever.
For me, I'm like the only person that wasn't excited for Soul, I think. So I'd be totally fine with it dropping on there. The trailers just weren't doing it for me. Everybody was really liking the trailers. I thought they were fine. So I would actually be 100% cool with it. Elliot, what about you? Would you be cool with it being on Disney Plus?
What is this, slated for November right now?
Yeah,
currently?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a sucker for Pixar, and I see the majority of them in theaters. And this one too kind of reminds me a lot of Coco in a sense of it's embracing the culture. Like that last teaser that they had showing Jamie Foxx's character, showing him in the Black community in the barbershops and how he interacts with people. I think that's incredible that Pixar is finally starting to veer away from just the standard norm type of stories or animals or toys, and it's just like a human element to their story. So I think it deserves that theatrical experience. Because again, I thought Coco was such a great film, and also the music. I'm not a big jazz guy, but the soundtrack so far that I've heard from Soul sounds incredible, and I think it will sound incredible in a theatrical experience. So I hope it gets that theater release, but there's Disney Plus for a reason, plan B in the case that we're in now. Yeah. So it has that option to go on Disney Plus, and everyone, it's a family film. So those films, as we saw earlier from Trolls and Scoob, those films do incredible on VOD. So it wouldn't be a bad idea, because eventually all these films cannot just be dumped into 2021. I mean, obviously we all joke about, we're going to be at the theater every weekend, but studios aren't really that happy about eating into each other's pockets. So one of these films, some of these big films will have to hit VOD, because 2021 cannot be that crowded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's so crowded. I saw a list just like a month ago, and there were so many big franchise films on that list. It's crazy. But I personally would be fine with it. I think it might, but I'd be totally cool with seeing it in the theater. I just wasn't as excited for it. Loose from Morningstar jumping into the chat saying Adam Sandler is quoted by saying he's not really a fan of sequels. What film that stars Adam Sandler would you like to see a sequel to? What about you, AJ? What's a Adam Sandler film that would you like to see a sequel to?
None. I don't like Adam Sandler.
Are you telling me you don't want to see Grown Ups 3?
Definitely not. The only Adam Sandler film that I enjoy is Uncut Gems, and I don't even really know about the rewatchability, and there couldn't be a sequel to that. So, I don't know. Like, I just never really got his humor. Like, it never really resonated well with me.
That makes sense. I like him. I just, if I wanted to see a sequel, I guess maybe that I can't remember the name of the movie, but there was this one movie where he was a shoemaker, I think, and he could like trade
cobbler or something.
Yeah, the cobbler, something like that. I guess it was an interesting world. It was an interesting concept. Yeah, I guess I would like to see.
It's the Netflix original?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, okay. The Cobbler. Okay.
Yeah, I might be cool with seeing a sequel to that, but I didn't love the movie or anything. But what about you, Elliot?
So I am a big Adam Sandler fan. Just growing up from Adam Sandler, the Billy Madisons of the world, Happy, all that stuff. That was just like perfect in my age. Just like a lot of people for Jim Carrey was Ace Ventura and all that stuff. Mass. That was like Adam Sandler for me. So if there were to be a sequel, 3 that come to mind actually would be probably Big Daddy, to see how he interacts with the son that he was raising during that, just to kind of see where they are in his life. He was a child adult. So seeing where he is now and see if he married or have any kids himself. I think of Billy Madison just to kind of see where he's at now in his life. That character is very interesting. And I'm trying to think of another one, probably, Waterboy. See if he can maybe be a water boy for an NFL team, or has a son or something that's a water boy. But like I said, I'm a big Adam Sandler fan. Just seeing all those films growing up, this is like nostalgia for me.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, where are we at here? The cartoon fan saying Endgame is better than I thought. So I guess you were going in with low expectations, which might be why you thought it was better. But what's your favorite way of watching movies? The theater, 100%. What about you guys?
I think it depends on what film it is. If it's one of those movies that, can go straight to DVD or something like that, yeah, I'd watch them at home. But a big movie like Inception or something like that, I gotta see it in theaters.
Yeah, are you the same way, Elliot? You want to see?
Yeah, 100%. I think there's some films that are more suited for a home experience, whether it be a quieter movie, a comedy. Sometimes comedies work in both ways. Sometimes you can't hear all the jokes when you're in a crowd full of people, so you might miss things. Where you're at home, you can catch it. But then, like AJ said, there's certain films, a la Tenet, Endgame, Star Wars, DC's, like you want to see those at the theater. But the way things are looking, the landscape in a movie-going experiences might be changing in the foreseeable future. So we'll see.
He also followed with, I think, 4K. So if you mean like
at home, okay,
then I'd go 4K for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't mind DVDs, but I do prefer Blu-ray. 100.
Yeah, Blu-ray all the way.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite non-superhero movie? So like any movie that just isn't
that's a lot. That's a lot of movies out there.
I think there are more movies that aren't superhero movies than there are superhero movies.
Yeah.
But off the top of my head, I guess I'm gonna do I'm trying to think of like an obscure one that I don't mention all that much. So okay, this is actually harder than I thought. I'll go Lion King. That'll be my pick. What about you, Elliot?
I'll go with like you said, maybe some hidden gems or some independent films. I'll go last year's A24 Waves. I thought was fantastic. Or Neon, they did Manos. I thought was a fantastic film. So a lot of those, like you said, obscure kind of independent films.
What about you, AJ? Anything comes to mind?
Yeah, Inception. That's my number one. The other day, I actually went to the drive-in movie theater to see Kill Bill Volume 1. And that was quite an experience. I loved that. And that's very close to my number one. Whiplash. It's a great film.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are some of my favorites. Step Brothers. Love Step Brothers.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm just curious, AJ, do you consider Kill Bill 1 and 2 one film? Or do you...
I don't, because Kill Bill Volume 2 isn't my favorite. I really, really enjoy the first one. I think it has... two different directions that Quentin Tarantino wanted to take, and I enjoyed the first way.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I could watch them. I have watched them back to back, like one long movie. So
I might do that.
yeah, it's a long day though.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen Billy Madison with Adam Sandler? If so, what did you think about it? I don't think I have seen that one, but have you guys?
Yeah, he was. Elliot was just talking about Billy Madison,
Yeah.
but I have seen Billy Madison. Once again, I don't want to offend Elliot too much.
Yeah,
I know he loves Adam Sandler. Billy Elliot was overrated, but not the worst movie I've seen, not the worst comedy I've seen. So
okay,
I can put it. I can say that.
Elliot, I know you really like that movie, right?
Yeah. Billy Madison is one of my favorites from Adam Sandler. Just again, a kid who has a bunch of money, has to go out in the real world and be an adult. It's, a coming of age story of sorts, but of course it has all the absurdity of an Adam Sandler film and the supporting cast and the spelling, him going through the school. That's just a fun film for me.
Totally. Filmstock saying, I think some of these movies need to drop on VOD. Halloween Kills is one example. I love the theatrical experience, and I know studios need to make money, but the people need new movies. Would you say? Well, first, do you think Halloween Kills should drop on VOD?
I'll start first. No, no. I'm a big horror fan, and Michael is my guy. 78 Halloween is my favorite horror film of all time, and I got to see that at the theater for the very first time ever. 78 Halloween, and that was just such an experience to see that amazing John Carpenter score, seeing The Shape in action. So, 2018 Halloween, I enjoyed. I'm so excited to see this continuation of the story. Very homage to the original, Halloween, where it's taking place the exact same night. So they're, paying, even though they're erasing 2, 3, 4, and on, but they're still paying homage to the older Halloween films that may have not worked for everyone. But I want to see Halloween in the theater, and I can patiently wait for Halloween's Kill next year because we waited 40 years for a good sequel to Halloween, so I can wait another year. So I need to see that in the theater for sure.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that film. What about you, AJ?
I'm right there with Elliot. I got to see that film in the theaters, and I will wait. I will definitely wait. Yeah.
Same here. JBEC Studio stopped by for a bit. What's going on? He's saying Happy Gilmore today would be wild. LOL. Very true. Always like to hear this, but what is your worst theater experience? Let's start with you, AJ. What's your worst theater experience?
I can think of a bad theater experience. I don't know. Well, when I went to the drive-in the other day, it was a screaming match between a couple people, and it was just crazy. Like in the first act, it was just like, what is going on here? And then a couple years ago, I saw Happy Death Day, and the theater was packed. And we were in the front row, and there was like all these kids talking, and we were like, "Shut up!" We're trying to watch this movie, even though this movie is terrible. Shut up.
I get that. Elliot, any bad theater experiences for you?
Probably another horror film like AJ. It was when I first saw Paranormal Activity. There was a bunch of kids in there and just screaming, yelling. Sometimes that adds to the experience. It gets you hyped up. At the same time, when you can't pay attention to the movie because people are being crazy, that distracts you from the film. And then probably it wasn't really a bad experience, but when the Joker came out, if you guys remember, there were police officers there. There were people like really high tension. You kind of feel that in the room when you were there, just kind of like stressfulness of the situation. Because if you remember, the media kind of hyped up that they thought that people will, all that stuff. So that wasn't the theatrical experience was fine. It was just the idea of like what media can kind of, create a certain narrative and just kind of almost get in your head and make you maybe not want to see a film because they make it seem like your life is in danger. So
that's so true. And the nature of the film as well.
Yeah.
I felt that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For me, I think I always go to Aquaman, which is a strange one because I like the movie. I don't know, I just like the movie, but I went there, and I think I've told this story before, but I was in the very back row, and then there was this kid, and this kid is like all the way down. Like I'm in like this corner, like this is the middle. I'm like right here, and this kid all the way down with his dad, and he like comes up to me and to my family, and then just stands there, and then starts running across each and every single row. So that was one. And then there's this other family, like all the way down towards the close to the screen, and the baby is crying the entire time. So,
that's yeah, the baby thing. Sometimes I get it because it's like, hey, they maybe not have a babysitter, this, that, and the other. But then I'm like thinking to myself, well, is the movie you really got to be at a movie theater if you can't find a babysitter? Like, you can't just watch it the next day when you do have a babysitter. But like I said, I know sometimes circumstances for finance wise, but it's just like, wait, you're at a theater, but you can't afford a movie a babysitter. Is just but it is what it is sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Cartoon fan saying, I have over 100,000 movies in my collection streaming on Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K. That is awesome.
Woo.
Okay.
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Doing
Goals,
good,
man. Goals.
Doing good. Do you know of a dark humored film that was released in the 70s, 80s, or 90s that could still be made today, plot-wise, or similar concept and still hold up today?
Dark comedy.
Dark humor.
Dark humor.
Nothing's coming to mind right away.
Yeah, I can't think of any dark humored films. I guess in the 80s you have the Evil Dead that they remade in 2013 with Fede Alvarez, but that wasn't really a comedy, so I guess they can put another spin on it. And there's another film coming out in that nature.
American Psycho, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
I feel like that's more horror thriller, but I don't know.
Moody Buffy guy saying, ever seen American Graffiti? I have not. Have you guys?
No, I haven't.
No, that's been on my list for a while though, because that's George Lucas's first film before Star Wars. So I want to kind of see him direct something outside of Star Wars, just like that one airplane movie he made that came out with Cuban Jr. and a couple other people. But there's few and far in between films that he's directed that isn't Star Wars, and that's one of them. So been on the list for a while.
Maybe we'll watch it soon. Which franchise do you prefer, Pirates of the Caribbean, Harry Potter, or Lord of the Rings? Let's start with AJ.
I've never been a huge Pirates fan. I do enjoy the movies, but I never was obsessed or anything. Harry Potter, I like Harry Potter a lot, but I'd have to say Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is my number one out of those three franchises. What about you guys?
Elliot, what are you feeling?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings for me. I didn't see the last Pirates with the one with I don't even know the name of them. Something Tide, Stranger Tide, or something.
Yeah, on Stranger Tides.
So yeah, didn't see that one. And the first two I think were fine. The first one I think is like an actual a really great Disney film, just a film in general, and then everything else is kind of shaped around Jack Sparrow. Harry Potter, this is not necessarily a hot take, but I've only seen one Harry Potter film. So it's been on my list for a while. I know they're all on HBO Max, so one of these days I'll sit down and watch them and catch up to them. I've read a couple of the books, but never the movies. But yeah, Lord of the Rings, progressively gotten, from Fellowship of the Ring to Two Towers, which is my favorite. And then, of course, we all know Return of the King, most nominations, won the most Oscars. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with something that iconic, one of the best trilogies of all time.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm a very big Potter fan, but I haven't seen most of the movies. I've only seen the first two and then the first Fantastic Beasts, which I hate. The first two Harry Potter movies, though, I think were pretty good. Based on the fact that I haven't seen that many Harry Potter movies, I'll go Lord of the Rings for now because I'm not a huge Pirates fan either. But that might change once I see all the Harry Potter movies because I have read all the books and I love them. So that might change.
Y'all gotta get on that Harry Potter train.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I've been in Universal in Florida. I mean, that world, just going there was incredible. So I thought that was going to maybe encouraged me to watch them, but that was over 2 years ago, so I still haven't seen them. So they're on the bucket list. I would love to see a Harry Potter TV show, though, especially.
Oh, yes. Agreed.
That'd be great. Lucifer Morning starts saying, name a movie that went straight to DVD / Blu-ray and didn't go to theaters, but you wish that did. Maybe Scoob. I liked that movie a lot, so I might say Scoob. AJ?
I recently watched this movie. Nobody's going to know what this movie is, but I recently watched a movie, and I've been talking about it ever since, and it's on the Hooked app. I don't even really know what the Hooked app is, but There's like a monthly subscription for it, and it like tells stories and all that. There's a movie on there called Dark Harbor, and I really enjoyed it, and I would have really liked to seen it in theaters. If you don't know what it is, look it up on YouTube. The Dark Harbor.
Dark Harbor.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, Elliot, what's your choice?
I mean, we were talking about maybe films that are maybe meant for the theatrical experience. I know recently, I know you liked it a lot. Certain Viz was Greyhound. For whatever reason, the film didn't resonate with me, but I think I maybe would have enjoyed it a little bit better if I was able to sit in the theater and hear all the, the cinematic score that they had. It makes you feel immersed and feel the tension there, but I really didn't feel any of that while watching it at home. And then I would say maybe Extraction. I thought that was a really good action film. And I thought that seeing, Chris Hemsworth be kicking ass on the big screen and all that stuff, and that car chase sequence for 10 minutes straight would have been cool to see at the theater.
Yeah, I totally agree. I loved Greyhound. I especially liked the score. That's one that I think would have been great in theaters, but I did notice that the special effects weren't fantastic, so it made it more apparent in theaters. So I don't know about that. Extraction I really loved too, so that would have been a great experience. Move Above guy saying, do you like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation? Plus, what are your favorite Christmas what is your favorite Christmas film? Elliot, what's your favorite Christmas film, and do you like National Lampoon?
The National Lampoons are always a yearly tradition, or when the holidays come around, I always try to check them out. So definitely a fan of that. Favorite holiday film? Let's see, maybe Home Alone. The first Home Alone takes place during the holiday time, and I always check that out once a year. So those are comes to mind. It's Home Alone.
Good choice. I think I'd go either Elf, or Home Alone, either one of the first two ones, or Die Hard. Those are my picks. AJ,
National Lampoon. I did like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's been so long since I've seen it, but Elf is the one. Man, every year, sometimes even in the summertime, I watch Elf. I love Elf. I can quote the whole movie.
Yeah, there's an entire section in my Walmart for Christmas in July, and there's just Christmas movies all the time in July. So that is definitely not too strange. J-Beck saying, I would use the 100,000 movies as a pickup line. I know I'd use that. It's definitely...
You got me.
Yeah. It's definitely a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, no doubt.
Lucifer saying, now that Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. are both out of the MCU, do you guys ever think we'll see them star in another film together? Personally, I doubt it, although I wouldn't mind it. I think it's very possible, for sure. I don't see why it wouldn't happen. I mean, they're both actors, so they're I'm sure they're great friends. I'm sure they'd be down to do a movie together. But
I'm not exactly sure if it's official that Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans are out of the MCU.
I'm not either.
But we might see them in like flashbacks or maybe like simulations, something like that. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Cartoon fan saying Scoob is not good in my opinion because they use different actors except for Frank Welker, and he got the least credit. I really liked it. It's not like my favorite Scooby-Doo material or anything, but I do. Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't bad. I know a lot of AJ. I know you really is not like that, right?
I wasn't a huge fan of Scoob, no, but I do love Scooby-Doo.
Yeah,
I enjoy the content, yeah.
Lucifer saying, honest question, do you guys ever think that streaming will take over physical media? As an old school dude, I can't see physical media collecting and going away anytime soon. Elliot, what do you say for this?
Yeah, no, just from a logistical financial situation, it would be silly for Universal, Disney, Warner Brothers to just put their stuff on streaming platforms because it's just a one month fee that you pay versus paying $20, $30, $40 for some of these collector's editions. So it's just a way of making money for the studio. So I don't ever see physical media going away anytime soon. And I mean, heck, you look at streaming platforms, you don't get any special features. You don't get the behind the scenes, the make it of, the commentary. So that is for me, that's why I buy Blu-rays, is to watch those behind the scenes and how they make the film and all that different stuff. So I don't see that ever being an instance where we see physical media being overtaken by streaming.
AJ, you feel similarly?
I might disagree with that. I think streaming will become a lot more prevalent, and physical media is. I think it's going to die out a little bit. They already are making the new PlayStation 5 a whole console just digital. I know that there's another one that they're making with, that you can purchase the physical discs. But I think eventually we're going to go to streaming, or, like you can rent movies on Amazon Prime or rent movies on PlayStation, things like that. I think maybe we're heading towards that direction. Yeah, but with the collector's editions and things like that, I think those will still be available, but not your common Blu-rays, unless it is, already purchased or, like that. So used Blu-rays.
I see what you're saying. Let's take some more of Max's questions while we're waiting for the chat to catch up. What's a franchise that should have ended with a certain movie?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is. Probably Indiana Jones comes to mind right now. Instead of for that fourth Indy, they should have just capped it off where they did. It was a perfect ending, so they should just left that franchise alone. But we got Indiana 5 coming out in 20 years, so we'll see how that goes.
As much as I do enjoy Force Awakens, I think they probably should have left it with Return of the Jedi. I think Return of the Jedi was a pretty solid ending to that trilogy. And then you had the backstory with the prequel, so I would have been fine if they ended with Return of the Jedi. What about you, AJ?
I would say the first franchise that comes to mind is Transformers. And I would stop at Transformers 1, honestly. I know people liked the second one some, but I just say just keep it with the first one. The first one was cool, and then after that, garbage, man.
Yeah. Let's see here. What's the most over-the-top performance you've seen in a movie?
Shia LaBeouf Transformers. No, I'm just kidding.
I love anything.
Facts.
Most over the top would be.
It's a good question.
It is. Who asked this, Max?
Yes, Max.
Max is always asking those questions, man. He's good. Midsommar. I feel like Florence Pugh's performance in Midsommar was a little over the top, not like necessarily in a bad way, but it was just like a little much for what actually was going on in the movie, in my opinion.
Okay. I guess to some extent, I would say John Travolta in The Fanatic was pretty up there in terms of over the topness. So that might be my pick. What about you, Elliot?
I guess it was hard for me to pick one out because I always think when it's over the top performances, it in my mind, it kind of lands on the director, just the direction of what they wanted from that character. And as an actor, you can't really just make up a thing. You're getting paid millions of dollars to play. You're hired as an actor, so I always kind of blame it on the director. So I'm trying to think of some performances. That's a good question, man. I always think of even though this might be a hot take. I like BVS, the extended cut, but I do think Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of Lex Luthor, I think it was a mixture of his performance and Zack Snyder's interpretation of Lex Luthor, being that he's a millennial that's growing up with technology and has this, Facebook owner, Mark Zuckerberg type of approach. But I just thought that the performance and the portrayal was just not there for me for Lex Luthor.
I think I heard a rumor that they were gonna have him as the Riddler, and then they scrapped it last minute. So if that's the case, it makes a little more sense to me, his performance as Lex. But yeah, and I agree. That was I used to like the Ultimate Cut, but I just rewatched it and I don't really like it anymore. There is that, but no, that is probably one of my low points in the movie. Got some new questions in here. Movie buff guys saying thoughts on Split, M. Night Shyamalan film. What do you guys think about that movie? AJ?
Split was great. I love Split. I thought it was very well made. It kept you on your toes. It was exhilarating. It was a little bit, tiny bit of a slow burn, but it was interesting nonetheless.
And the ending.
The ending, yes, so good, man.
Yeah, Elliot, do you like that film a lot?
Yeah, man. That was one of the two films that kind of got M. Night back in the rotation and kind of getting some momentum after coming off of The Visit, I think was the name of the film. Because after that, I mean, before that, it was like After Earth, Last Avatar, Lady in the Water. I mean, he was just like tanking. So The Visit and then the Split. Yeah, Split, like AJ said, man, I love that film actually. Like Anna Taylor-Joy's performance, the backstory with her being a little girl, her interactions with her uncle was just, heartbreaking. And then James McAvoy. I mean, we talk about performances of the decade. Like, to me, that's one of my favorite performances of 2010s. Him as the 23 different personalities and that portrayal, even though I know a couple weeks ago it came out that people that do suffer from multiple personality disorders didn't like the portrayal because it kind of portrays it in the light that you should be scared of people with those disorders, which I, understand where they're coming from. But as a film, just as a vacuum, where I didn't think M. Night was, making fun of people with that personality or trying to make a message about how he portrays those personalities. But that performance was great. And I'm a big fan of Split. And I'm happy that M. Night's getting back on the path of his, his earlier works. And I don't know if you guys watch Apple TV Servant, but that show is really fantastic by M. Night.
All right, might check that one out. Lucifer saying, thoughts on the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that Seth Rogen is now involved with? AJ?
I didn't know anything about that, honestly, but after the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles films, I don't have much faith in that franchise, anything live action anyway.
Elliot, do you agree?
Well, I know, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is animated, that they said they're going to, do the animation route. Okay. And also too, I'm a big fan of what Seth Rogen has been doing, for TV shows and movies in the last few years. I think of, I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my bucket list. I heard The Boys is fantastic. I was a big fan of Preacher. So I like him and his partner, Evan Goldberg, I believe his name is, are going to be tackling this and bringing it to animation. And then I don't think it's going to be like a Seth Rogen, like Sausage Party kind of inappropriate jokes. I think they're going to pay homage just like they do to the comics of The Preacher and The Boys that I've heard. That so I'm looking forward to it, to see what they do. And like I said, with it being animated, I think they'll have a little bit more flexibility and not make these steroid looking turtles that Michael Bay decided to do. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm the only person that really enjoyed those movies. I didn't love them, but I did. They weren't bad in my eyes. They were okay. So I am excited for this. I'm a pretty big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. Ginger Cat 59 saying, who's your favorite director? Elliot, who's your favorite director?
Working today in Hollywood is Denis Villeneuve. I think that man has not made a bad film at all. I think all his films are damn near perfect masterpieces, being that Blade Runner 2049 is my favorite, Arrivals, Prisoners, Sicario's fantastic. So he's definitely up there for me. And then, being back that I am a horror fan, James Wan, Lee Winnell, Jordan Peele, Jennifer Kent. I mean, we got obviously Christopher Nolan. So those are something that come to mind. But Denis Villeneuve is my guy. Like, I can't wait for Dune.
AJ? What about you?
I would say probably Christopher Nolan or Quentin Tarantino. I love Tarantino films. I'm just always so captivated with Tarantino films. So.
Not
now, I've seen most of his collection. I think there's one film or maybe two films that I haven't seen in his collection. So,
have you seen Death Proof?
I've not seen Death Proof or Jackie Brown. So those are the two that I haven't seen. But they are on my watch list. I gotta see them.
Same here. For me, it is Nolan all the way. He is my favorite director, possibly of all time. I will say Denis Villeneuve. I don't think there's a single movie of his that I don't like either. So there is that. And but Nolan, out of most of the movies that I've seen, I think that there's only like one or two. I still need to see Interstellar, and I still need to see what's another one? I still need to see Insomnia and Dunkirk. So besides those, I do love every single one of his movies. Like, absolutely love them. Maybe except Following. Following is great, but it's not like top tier for me. But Nolan is my favorite director working today and probably of all time as well. Film Explorer saying a movie you wish you could forget about and watch it again as if it was the first time. Endgame for me, man. AJ,
I gotta think about that. Come back to me.
Elliot.
Yeah, I think that Endgame, just again being a day one Marvel, MCU fan, and just seeing the journey from 2008 to 2019 last year, and that last hour of the film, man, just so many payoffs. And it's just, I think we all appreciate what the Russo brothers did, and Marcus and McFeely writing the script and the performances, but I don't think we've still kind of commute what exactly we saw last year, because that could have been a epic failure. And the fact that they were able to stick the landing, to me, is a cinematic history. And it's something that should always be remembered, that Kevin Feige and Russos and everyone involved in that saga was able to do. And we've never seen it before, nor do I think it'll ever be replicated. So definitely just seeing, Cap, who's my guy, picking up Mjolnir and fighting Thanos, and the call back to Winter Soldier on your left. I mean, it's just,
you're giving me goosebumps, man.
yeah,
Giving
man.
me goosebumps.
It's one of the best theater experiences. Like, I cried, like literally cried in the theaters, like nerd tears when I saw Cap picking up Mjolnir and Spider-Man coming back. Like, it hit me like emotionally, because again, you've been on the journey. We've been on the journey for 12 years, and they stuck the landing. So yeah, definitely that would be the first one that I can Men in Black erase from my memory and go back to 2019 and see it.
Yeah, I just want to experience the third act for the first time again. That's what I want. I'll also go a bit more obscure. I think The Prestige. I would love to watch that movie again. I would love to experience the ending of that movie another time, because even now, having seen the movie, I think twice, it still blows my mind every time I think about it. So just watching it one more time for the first time would be great. I would
probably say Inception
Mm-hmm.
as well. Inception, Endgame, and Whiplash. Like, Whiplash was so great. Elliot, have you seen it, Whiplash?
Oh, yeah. Damien Chazelle, I should have mentioned him. He's one of my favorites, too. He's 3 for 3 for me. So, yeah, I love Whiplash.
I hope they make another good Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if they're going to release another one. I honestly think that they should release the older 3 instead of making new ones. Any thoughts on those?
Like, re-release the older films? Is that what it means?
I'm guessing that's what it means.
Oh, okay. That'd be kind of cool to, go back to the theater and see the classics.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Favorite leading actor performance? Mine's Jack Nicholson for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I say this all the time. It's Andrew Garfield in Hacksaw Ridge. For me, that's my favorite lead actor performance. AJ?
Leo, Inception.
Oh, okay. Okay. Elliot?
Favorite. I guess just kind of sticking with the Leo vibe. I'll go with Leo in Wolf of Wall Street. Him as and also Leo in Django, which is my favorite Quentin Tarantino film. Him as Calvin Candy. Seeing him play a bad guy for the first time, and him embracing that role, and him hitting the glass and breaking it and not breaking the scene, like that. That's just like a lifetime performance. So yeah, I'll go with Leo with Wolf of Wall Street and Django.
For sure. Let's see. Cartoon, or did I skip one? I think I might have skipped one. Yep. I'm a big fan of Split as well. What do you think of Glass? Do not like Glass. AJ?
I was hoping this question wasn't going to be asked. I do not like Glass at all.
Yeah.
Glass,
Elliot,
I'm one of those Glass fans, guys. Like, you are
a Glass fan.
Yeah. I'm actually. Well, I'll say this. It didn't live up to the expectations, but for what it was, I enjoyed it. Again, I'm a big, even though she wasn't in the film as much, but Anna Taylor-Joy's through line, I wish would have been a better ending on that story. I thought that the way that they handled James McAvoy and the reveal of his parents and the train and all that stuff from Unbreakable, I thought was really well done. And I'm a sucker for, Sam Jackson and anything, especially as Elijah in that role. Bruce Willis, I thought, was handled kind of poorly, and again, that just goes back to the Unbreakable fans, but I enjoyed it for what it was, because again, I think James McAvoy knocked it out of the park once again in that role. So I know it doesn't work for a lot of people, but I actually like Glass.
I respect it.
Same here. It's not a horrible movie. It's just not great. If I first say, what's your opinion on the Invisible Man, Elliot?
I mean, as of right now, even if there were other films that we would have saw earlier this year, I think that Invisible Man would have still been in my top 10 so far. It's one of my favorite movies of the year thus far. The performance, of Elizabeth Moss, I put her up there again, being a horror fan in the last decade. I put her up there with Emily Blunt in The Quiet Place, Lupita Nyong'o in Us, Florence Pugh in Midsummer, Hereditary with Toni Collette. Like, she was up there for me for one of the best horror performances in this past decade. So I'm a big fan of it, and very interested to see what Lee Winnell does with the Wolfman. But yeah, I'm very big fan of Invisible Man.
Same here. I really, really like that movie. Probably you'll find out where it ranks in my top 5 this Friday. But no, I really, really enjoyed it. AJ?
Yeah, I enjoyed Invisible Man a lot as well. Yeah, it's probably going to be in my top 10 of 2020. But, that's not saying a whole lot since we haven't gotten, the things that we wanted this year. But, it was a great film, though.
For sure.
Elizabeth Moss. Woo.
Yeah, she killed it. She's fantastic.
Great performance from Elizabeth Moss. I'm ready to see more from her.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee Winnell, definitely one of my favorites working today.
Yeah.
So him, that and Upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Cut
from the same cloth as his boy James Wan. They came up together with Saw and Insidious, and seeing where they're at now is, I think Lee Winnell is one more film away from, you're going to see him probably James Wan, just like he did with David F. Sandberg for Shazam. He's going to probably bring him in for some DC character that is going to be awesome. I would love to see Lee Winnell direct a DC film, especially like a darker character from like Justice League Dark or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Lucifer Morningstar saying, a movie that isn't a autobiography of your life, but could definitely hold sentimental value to your life and or childhood. For me, it's Fred Claus. I think I'm going to have to read that again. A movie that isn't an autobiography of your life. Okay, but could definitely hold sentimental value to your life or childhood. Okay, I'm still not sure I fully grasp the question, but if you mean like a movie that's really important to my childhood, any one of the first Raimi Spider-Man movies, I guess, would be a solid answer. That those are, if there was like a physical representation of my childhood, it would be those movies. Those movies are, I mean, I know I've seen the first two at least 200 times, or the second two, Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, I know I've seen at least 200 times. The first one, I think I've seen a solid 100. So I've seen them a lot.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie more than like 50 times.
I will never get tired of them. I will continue to watch them 3 times every year. I will never stop that. AJ, any movie coming to mind?
You come back to me. Come back to me, Elliot.
Will do.
I mean, if it is going off of what certain vids said, like a movie that you remember a lot and watched a lot as a child, it's probably Jurassic Park. That was kind of my first introduction to just being embraced in the world. Growing up, we all were fascinated with dinosaurs, so seeing them on the big screen, and then obviously the Steven Spielberg magic and the performances, and obviously the gift that we all have with the acting of he's drawing a blank right now, but Malcolm's character, I can't think of the actor's name right now, but Jeff Goldblum, being introduced to him for the first time. So yeah, Jurassic Park's probably that one for me that I saw that so many times as a kid.
Let's see here. Ewan Moorfield saying, "Sup guys, you're not alone in liking the live action Turtles movie, CB." I'm so glad, because everybody hates those movies, and I'm like, they're cool. They're not bad. From what was saying, for me, Interstellar and cinematic experience, dude, I'm hearing great things about Interstellar. I know, Elliot, that's one of your favorite movies. I really do need to get on that.
Yeah, that's my favorite Nolan film. One of my favorite films of all time. Seeing that in theater is like a must if you guys ever get the opportunity to. But yeah, that film really hits me on an emotional level, and then just the crafting of that film. And I love Interstellar. I can talk days and days about Interstellar. It's a fantastic movie.
I just purchased it on Amazon, so I'm gonna check it out soon.
Nice.
I got the steelbook. I actually have never seen a Matthew McConaughey film, so that's gonna be my first one.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I've been looking for Interstellar forever, but
Mm.
everywhere I go, it's always like $15. And I don't have a problem with spending that much, but if it's been this long, I'm like, I'm willing to spend anything just to watch it at this point. So next time I
Elliot, is it
see it,
worth $15?
Oh yeah, it's like one of my most prized possessions that I own, and it's something that I will say just to prepare out because I don't want you guys to go in expecting like Inception type of level. Like there's no like action per se, but it is the journey that you're watching Matthew McConaughey go on, and the idea of traveling and chasing stars, but then having that emotional connection on Earth with his family. And you'll see a young Timothy Chalamet in there, and John Lithgow is always great, and there's a big cameo in this movie that was completely under the wraps. Is another reason why I think Tenet will be an Inception sequel because he's great at keeping people under the wraps. So I love Interstellar, man.
gonna watch it soon. Let's see. How many times did you cry while watching Endgame? I cried 3 times. I think. What about you, AJ? I think
I
I know the answer, but go ahead. Go ahead.
didn't cry. I didn't cry, but I was I was such I being kicked out the chat for not crying.
Yes.
No, but yeah, I was so like on a high, like I felt like I was levitating above my body watching the movie.
Doing a Doctor Strange.
Yes, exactly.
I don't blame you.
Exactly.
I think I cried probably once when at the funeral when Tony's daughter says the cheeseburger line. That's the one that got me. That's the one that got me.
Yeah.
What about you, Elliot? I know you.
Yeah, man, I was a baby in that film. I think it was 4 times. So it was the Cap versus Thanos. It was the On Your Left, the portal sinks. I love the score and everything around it. And then the Avengers assemble. I love that moment. The Iron Man, that scene, man, when Patrick tells him you can rest now, because it's a callback to earlier in the film when he's like, I can't rest, I have to protect my family. And that's something that Tony's always been about from the beginning, is he needs armor to protect the universe in Age of Ultron. And so it just it encapsulates this journey that we've seen him on. And I love that scene. It's just so emotional. And then the callback, as you just mentioned, to the little girl with the first Iron Man film with the Burger King, and then the little the thing, the collage they put together and said this is Tony Hawk's his heart, and it's like floating in the lake.
That he is the heart,
yeah, man. It's just like that film, man. It got me, man. It got me
for sure.
I'm not saying that I don't cry in films, but that one didn't get me. I think I was just so detached from my emotions.
Yeah. Just in awe.
Yes,
Definitely. If you could only see the films from Nolan or Villeneuve going forward, who would you choose? I know what Elliot would choose. You would choose Villeneuve.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just because he does his own original stuff like Nolan did. And also too, Nolan, like the last like 3 films when he started doing his own IP, like everything else from Memento was original script, but like Insomnia is based on a book, Prestige is based on a book, obviously Batman is based on comics. So this is like his first time really doing something on his own was Inception, Interstellar, and Dunkirk. So Denis Villeneuve can not only do his own movies and his own scripts, but then he does something like a Dune. He does a sequel to one of the biggest cult films of all time in Blade Runner. So I love that he can kind of dive into both universes in regards to his own IP, taking on just ambitious IPs. Like Dune is like, if Dune sticks to landing, it'll be regarded as one of the best films ever, just because it's Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings, and it's just so epic that this Dune can really break the cinematic experience. So yeah, Denis Villeneuve all day for me.
For sure, man. I'd go Nolan because his films, it's not exactly the director whose filmography I would love to watch all the time, but if it came down to those two, I'd go Nolan. Even though I really like Prisoners is fantastic, and Arrival is one of my favorite sci-fi films ever. So
that's another thing too, man. I think like Denis is just so much grittier than Nolan. Like again, you just mentioned, I mean, Sicario. Like that's fit. Like seriously, seeing them embracing the cartel and how it is over how they just massively killing people. And then you just mentioned Prisoners, man. That film is just so dark and gritty, and I don't think Nolan gets to that grittiness that Denis Villeneuve is willing to go in his films.
That's true. AJ, who would you pick?
I would say Nolan, just because I have not really dove into Villeneuve's films. I have seen Prisoners and Arrival, I did really like Prisoners. Prisoners really it messed with me, man.
Yeah,
It was a trippy film, and I
man.
left the theater feeling very uneasy after seeing Prisoners. But
It's a tough one.
Arrival, actually, I don't know if this is a hot take, but Arrival wasn't my favorite. It was such a slow burn, and it was just like I couldn't get into the film like I wanted to. I had very high expectations as well.
I know Trevor's in the chat, and he agrees with you, so you're not alone. But nah, man, I love Arrival.
Arrival's so great.
Yeah. I wanted to like it.
So good, but I respect your opinion. It's not a deal breaker. You're still welcome on the channel.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll hold off watching movies thinking I wouldn't like it, then watching it months later and loving it, then watch movies you think you'll love instantly and end up not liking it. Relate.
Arrival.
Don't do that. Okay, let's see. I'll hold off watching movies thinking I wouldn't like it. I don't think I do that. If I know I won't like a movie, I probably won't just watch it at all. Watch movies you think you'll love it instantly. That happens sometimes. I watch a movie thinking I'll love it, and I won't like it. Like you mentioned, Arrival, which is a fair example.
Yeah.
Elliot, any specific examples coming to mind?
Nothing that comes to mind, but kind of in within this realm of the question being asked, I have tried to, in the last few years, just lower expectations going into movies, and also to putting aside my personal biases to like, oh, this film has to do A, B, C, and D in order for me to like it, and just appreciating what the director was trying to tell, and then just basing it off of that versus bringing my own baggage into a film. So I've really tried to not, because I think that's where we get into the toxicity of Star Wars fans, DC fans, Marvel fans. It's like, oh, you didn't do what they did in the comics, so I don't like your movie automatically because you didn't do A, B, C, and D. So I'm really have been focusing on just going in, expectations at the front door, and just going into for the journey, for the ride. So
I've been trying to do that as well. It really improves your experience, watching films.
And if you go in with low expectations, you have a higher chance of being surprised. So there is that.
Very true.
Ewan Moorfield saying, if we don't get any big new movies in theaters for a while, what movie or movies would you like to see get re-released? Endgame's definitely one. Endgame's definitely one. I'd love to see maybe The Dark Knight make a return. Inception, which I think, did it get re-released or did they hold off on that?
They were going to re-release it before. Well, they pushed back Tenet a few weeks, and then they were gonna put Inception in place of it the 17th. But then things got pushed back. So I was gonna see Inception on the 17th.
Yeah, I was gonna go to it too, and it got delayed. So I would have loved to see it in theaters, but Inception is one.
I saw it twice in theaters.
I didn't see it in theaters. I got to it a little late. And then I would really enjoy Arrival in theaters, especially because I really like the sound design in that movie. So I'd love to see that. Elliot, anything specific that you would like to see come back?
Let's see. Probably The Matrix. Seeing that in the theater would be pretty awesome, because I was only a kid when it came out, so I wasn't able to see it in theaters. So that definitely comes to mind. And also probably Twin Towers. I didn't see the Lord of the Rings trilogy until it was out on Blu-ray, so I didn't see any of them at the theater, unfortunately, back in the early 2000s. So I would have loved to see Twin Towers on the big screen.
Fair. Film Fanatic saying, favorite leading actress performance, mine is Margot Robbie in I, Tonya. I've heard great things about that movie. You should probably watch it.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen it, you got to see I, Tonya.
Yeah,
it's on Hulu.
Favorite leading actress performance? Anything for you guys, AJ?
Nah, I can't think of anything right now. Let me try to look.
I'm thinking
my IMDb app. Can't see that. Let's see. Leading actress. Elliot, you got something?
I mean, Charlize Theron's one of my favorite. So Mom, and that's the one she got an Oscar for. Frances McDermott in Fargo. I thought she was great as I think her character name was Meg, if I'm not mistaken. The Coen brothers. That comes to mind. Let's see. Amy Adams in Arrival. I thought she was fantastic in that movie. I think Amy Adams is just great all in all. One of my favorite actresses as well. So those three: Charlize, Frances McDormand, and Amy Adams. So I'll go with those three.
Good choices. AJ, you got something?
I really liked Florence Pugh. I don't think she's a lead actress in this movie, but I really enjoyed Florence Pugh in Little Women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So great. I might go with that. She might be
right.
supporting actress though.
Human Morphe saying, for me, I love to watch the 2007 Transformers movie again. That first one is pretty good. So
it's good.
It's good. Everything else, not too high. Film Fanatic saying, for me, I love to watch Lord of the Rings trilogy. Yeah, I know you're a big fan. I can see the profile pic. I
would love to see that trilogy in theaters. That'd be so epic.
I didn't see them like a month or two ago, so yeah, I would love to see it in the theaters again. Mega fan joined in here. What's going on, dude? Film Geek saying, what's up, boys? Sorry I couldn't make it this week. That's totally cool, dude. Love to have you back on real soon. Interstellar is Nolan's best film. I know. Elliot, would you agree with that?
100%, Trevor.
All right. AJ, do you agree?
I haven't seen Interstellar. Yeah, I just picked it up. Yeah, I just picked it up. So I'm going to check out Interstellar probably this week or next week.
As of right now, The Prestige is my favorite Nolan film. So, yeah, let's leave it at that.
I think that might be actually a hot take.
Is it really?
Maybe. I don't think that's a lot of people's number one of Nolan's.
Yeah, I know. I was on the stream yesterday. I know Big J said his favorite is The Prestige, right?
Oh, really? Of Nolan's?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's definitely an underrated pick. I just really love that film. I think it's perfect, start to finish.
It was really good. I don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed it because you showed me that movie, and I really like that movie. But I have to say Inception because I haven't seen Interstellar.
Who knows? Maybe Interstellar will change my mind. Maybe that'll be my new favorite. Let's see here. Elliot, Film Geeks giving you a shout out. Glad to see you on here. Yeah, it's awesome to have you on. Lucifer Morningstar saying, have to go enjoy the stream, guys. Last question. Do any of you remember the name of the first movie you can actually remember watching? Like just in general? I thought you were talking about theaters.
In theaters, yeah.
Just in general, I think the first movie I watched was probably Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2002. That's the first one I can remember watching. AJ?
I think maybe Toy Story, the very first Toy Story, might have been the very first movie that's the first one I remember watching. And then the first movie in theaters was Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius.
Interesting.
That's the first one I remember watching. I mean, it wasn't my choice, but yeah. That's the first one I remember seeing.
First movie is probably Jurassic Park, to be honest with you, which I don't think at the age I was at probably should have been seeing that, but I did. And then theater, probably Power Rangers, because I was a huge Power Rangers fans growing up. So when they first came out, I think it was 96 with the Power Rangers movie, I was like in line day one, excited to see that film.
For some reason, I still remember the first time I watched Meet the Robinsons. So there is that. Nice. I don't know why. I just really liked that movie when I first watched it. I think I've only seen it that one time. So that's been a good 12 years, I think. Or maybe 13. I don't know. But I do need to rewatch that. Mega fan saying, I cried 6 times watching Endgame the first time. I'm not sure if I should be proud of that or not. No reason to be ashamed of it.
Yeah.
6 times. That's solid number. I only did once. AJ did none. So
I didn't. I feel left out now.
Yep. Favorite Lord of the Rings moments. Elliot, what would you say for this?
I mean, so being that it's Twin Towers is my favorite Lord of the Rings film, it's probably the battle, like in the rain, Legolas coming down on the ladder and shooting his arrows. I mean, that sequence, that battle is just epic. So I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a battle like that. Maybe Game of Thrones, as far as on that scale. But yeah, that moment with Legolas is, and they're taking count of how many people they've killed. Him and I can't think of the little guy, but yeah, that film is just
Gimli is his name.
Is it Gimli?
Gimli?
Something I think so. Yeah, and they're just taking counts. I love that moment.
AJ, what's your favorite moment?
I love like the end of at the end of Return of the King, where Frodo is about to throw in the ring and Gollum comes sneak attack, and I just the anxiety that I felt when Frodo wasn't gonna throw in the ring. It was just
That's true.
Like, you traveled all this way. I watched all of these movies, and you gotta do it. You know,
it's been 9 hours,
right?
Longer with the extended versions. You know,
exactly. I spent so much money to buy these extended editions.
Right.
No, I think that's a great moment. I think the first in Fellowship of the Ring, there's right after Aragorn, is that, am I saying it right? I can't remember his name correctly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right after she sends Frodo off with the ring, and then I can't remember the name of the creatures, the orcs, something like that. What you call them? When they were about to attack, and there's that iconic score playing, and then he's like holding up the sword in front of him. I love that moment. That sends chills down my spine every time. So that's probably one of my favorites. And then for Frodo in Return of the King,
yeah, that's a close second for me.
That's awesome. And then Two Towers when Gandalf shows up in the battle.
Are you guys looking forward to the Amazon series?
For sure, man.
I really am, but I get nervous. Like, I just don't want them to butcher it.
Yeah,
I really don't. But yeah, I am excited though.
Yeah, I hope it's epic. Even though it's on TV, I hope they really put a lot of, which I've heard they're putting a lot of money in this show. So hopefully it delivers.
I hope it's like Game of Thrones status.
Yeah.
Not the last season, but you know.
Film Fanatic saying it, either I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you, or you shall not pass. Those are two.
You shall not pass.
I love that one.
Oh, so good.
And then I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. That's another one. That's another one.
Getting those chills again.
I think Arrival is a beautifully made movie. I just wasn't as interested as I wanted to be. I gotta disagree. I know AJ
handles time travel so well, because I'm a big time travel sucker. So I love how they handled that story.
Yeah, I love time travel movies, and I think they did a great job with that. I got so many good movies I could be watching, but I choose to watch bad Adam Sandler comedies. It's your choice, man. Your choice.
Hey, man, comedies are like comfort food for people, right? That's the beauty of comedy. It's just like you want to be in a good mood, and regardless of its, juvenile jokes and jokes that might not be, can carry into the 2020s, but it's good comfort food for comedy. So yeah,
it's true
for sure. Let's see here. Mickey fan saying, I got so many good, or I already got that one. I do like Adam Sandler as an actor most of the time. Yeah, he's a pretty good actor. I think, especially because of Uncut Gems. He's a great actor. Yeah. I just think he made some poor choices.
I heard Punch Drunk Love is really good as well with Adam Sandler, and I haven't seen that. I have yet to see that. I think I might just enjoy Adam Sandler in more serious roles than comedies, and that I know that's probably an unpopular opinion, but yeah, like I do. I enjoyed Uncut Gems, and it really opened my eyes. I was like, okay, well, maybe I do like Adam Sandler. I don't know.
Yeah, check out Reign Over Me too with him and Don Cheadle. That's a really good film.
Okay, really we'll do.
I'd argue that saying Interstellar is Nolan's best is more of a hot take than The Prestige, because people either love that movie or really don't like it. I think he's talking about Interstellar for that one. I do hear people saying that they don't really like Interstellar, so I was a little confused.
I've actually never heard that, so I don't know.
I've seen a lot of people place it towards the bottom of their list, so that's why I was like, I don't know, should I watch it, should I not? People either they're kind of iffy on it because I want it because I know somebody I know in real life who thinks that's probably like his favorite movie ever. So that kind of inclined me to watch it, but I still haven't. But I think the most hated, I've seen a lot of people like hate on Dunkirk, so that's probably one that I'd say is.
I just picked that one up.
I've had that one forever. I just haven't gotten around to watching it, so I'm gonna watch it now.
I have a lot of movies like that.
Yeah, I really, really recommend Dunkirk. That's a really well made. Not a lot of characteristics. You don't really get to meet the characters per se, but it's a fantastically made film. It's probably his most ambitious film, to be honest with you, compared to Interstellar and Inception. Just the scope of Dunkirk is fantastic.
Looking at Todd Phillips' filmography pre-Joker is actually really funny, considering that all his movies prior were wacky comedies. Yeah, that is definitely interesting. He did The Hangover, and then he does Joker, which is definitely not the same thing.
It's like a 180.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I think even in the Hangovers and Old School and those comedies they did, there was always a sense of like a little bit of regret within the characters, trying to make amends to them, and it had a little bit of dark tints, especially Hangover. It gets dark at times, some moments in the film, and then before the Joker, he did a kind of a serious drama with Miles Teller and Jonah Hill and Ana de Armas, War Dogs, which was like his most serious film before Joker. So I always say with comedians, especially we just talk about Adam Sandler, they always can go to those like Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, Eddie Murphy, make us laugh, but they can make you cry too because they make you laugh because they're hiding their own pain, right? So I always love when those Jordan Peele's in horror. John Krasinski, The Office, is doing horror. So those comedy guys can get to those levels. So yeah.
For sure. Maggie fan saying, is cartoon fans question showing up on your board? He had one. I'm seeing a bunch of comments. I'm not seeing a question from cartoon fan. Scrolling up here. Might be this one. What do you think of The Grudge? Didn't see that. Did you see that?
The 2020 Grudge?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
I think that's the only one that I've seen. And I'm actually in the middle of watching Ju-on Origins on Netflix right now.
Oh my goodness. How far are you in that?
I am on episode 4.
So you haven't watched episode 4 yet?
No, I haven't watched episode 4 yet.
The most disturbing thing is in that episode. Like, really? I really enjoyed John Woo's series. Like, that show is like, I really love that series. In episode 4, be prepared to be freaked out.
Okay. Yeah. But the 2020 version, I did a review on it, and I said it was how did I put it? I said it was it was probably the scariest film that I was bored with. Something like that. It was so like uninteresting, but it was frightening at the same time.
Interesting.
Did either one of you see the 2020 Grudge?
No, the only one I had seen in the franchise prior to this Netflix series was the 2004 Sarah Gellar. What's her name? Buffy. I can't think of her name right now.
Oh,
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, that's the only one I saw, and I didn't really enjoy that. But I know a lot of people said if you watch the original, like the Japanese ones, they're like really good.
Yeah, that's what I hear too.
We got a couple more Max questions. Let's see. Should a Wreck-It Ralph 3 happen? So let's change it up. Do you want it to happen, and should it happen? AJ?
I watch Wreck-It Ralph 52. Like, I love Wreck-It Ralph. I wish they would make as many Wreck-It Ralph movies as they can. I really enjoyed the first one, and I enjoyed the second one better. I don't know if that's, unpopular, but I did like the second one a lot better. It just broadened the world, and I just really like that.
I do not like the second one. It's not bad, and I don't dislike it. It's just kind of average for me. The first one is one of my favorite animated movies ever. I love the first one. I cannot believe Brave won Best Picture that year over Wreck-It Ralph. That's mind-boggling to me. But that first Wreck-It Ralph movie, I absolutely love. And I want another one, but if it goes the way the second one did, then no. So
yikes!
I don't know. I would love to see another movie. I just hope it's good. So That's where I'm at. Elliot, any thoughts on the?
Yeah, I'm right there with you with Zootopia, the first one. I was Zootopia. I was gonna say actually that's one of Zootopia and Wreck-It Ralph are two of my favorite like more modern Disney films and animation. And the second one, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it as much as I did the first one. And it'll be really interesting to see what they do with the third one if they do that. But the reason I got Zootopia on my mind, I would rather see them do a Zootopia 2 before I would rather see them do a Wreck-It Ralph 3. Because I thought Zootopia, we're talking about world building, I would love to see them kind of expand that. And I really enjoyed Zootopia, so hopefully they make a sequel to that.
Zootopia was great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Hopefully. And then final question from Max here. Favorite MonsterVerse movie, Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla King of the Monsters. I hate King of the Monsters. Kong Skull Island I have not seen. And the first Godzilla is all right. So I guess I'll go with the first Godzilla.
Elliot, go.
I'm more entertained by King of the Monsters. I hate the human elements of that story, just the same way I did not like Kong Skull Island. I mean, you have Brie Larson, Sam Jackson, Tom Hiddleston. I mean, the cast was Corey Hawkins. The cast is great, but they are underutilized in that film. I am not a big fan. The action of that is pretty cool, and the director, that Kong Skull Island is one of the most beautiful films within the universe. Gareth Edwards, I saw what he was trying to do. Obviously, he gets the Jaws comparison that you barely see Godzilla until the last half of the film, and the scope of the film was there. But all those movies, the human story falls so flat. I don't know what they're doing with the humans. I just want to see kaijus like fighting each other. And then if you're gonna have some humans, make their stories integral. But they have like these dramas. They have this unnecessary man wanting to kill the creatures. Hopefully, Adam Wingard with Kong versus Skull Island or Kong versus Godzilla. There's incredible actors in it, but less of them and more of the kaiju on screen. So it's a love or hate relationship with me with that franchise because I'm a big Godzilla and Kong fan growing up. So
same here. Kong was my cup of tea, but King of the Monsters I do not understand. It was so boring. That was such a boring movie in my eyes. I could not stand it, but that's just me.
I would say I didn't really care for Godzilla 2014. I thought that film was boring. But and Bryan Cranston, I felt like was underutilized in that film as well. After seeing Breaking Bad and just different roles that he's taken, I just thought he was underutilized in that film. Kong Skull Island, I enjoyed. But I'd say King of the Monsters. I really thought that King of the Monsters was exhilarating, and I love the action. The action was just like,
I'm right there with you.
And I accidentally saw it in 3D because there was no other showings at the time. I was going to the theater, and I was like, might as well just see it in 3D. Whatever. I put on those 3D glasses. I loved it. So.
I'm right there with you, dude. I think that like I said, that was the most entertaining one for me. That's what I've been wanting to see forever is the kaiju fighting, seeing him fighting, him and King Ghidorah. I can't think of the dragon, 3-headed dragon one, but Ghidorah or something like that. But that stuff to me was so dope. And seeing it in theaters, like you just mentioned, that was like a theatrical, the Godzilla's roar. I mean, I'm right there with you, man. The human stuff, again, you can miss me with all the Millie Bobby Brown and Kyle Chan. Like that storyline was just like so pointless. I mean, you had Charles Dance in the film, and you guys are like, I don't know what they were doing with the humans, but
I just love Vera Farmiga. I just really like her acting, but
yeah.
I agree that the human aspect in the film was definitely lackluster compared to the monsters themselves. CV's just shaking his head. Nah, not for me.
The action. I'm not
in the theaters.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
so
okay.
I didn't love.
I don't know.
I mean, there's so many frames you can freeze on that film, like seeing Ghidorah again coming out of the volcano and the shot that they have and the lightning. Like there's so many like literally iconic shots to me in that film. Like it is beautifully shot in my opinion.
I went in with the lowest expectations. I went in like not expecting to like the film at all. I think that might have been one reason why I enjoyed it so much because I just didn't care for the 2014 Godzilla. So, going into that, I was like, okay, Cool.
I the even the action was not for me, but it was well shot. I'll give you that. It was a well shot movie. So mega fan saying I'm gonna watch The Grudge now after that synopsis. I think he's talking about you, AJ, the scariest movie that I was bored by.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was slow. It was such a slow burn, and it didn't pay off.
Coaching fan saying, "What do you think of The Room? I hate it. It's like so bad it's funny. So I mean, it's really entertaining. I wouldn't say I hate that movie. Would you agree? Disagree, AJ?
I have not seen The Room, so I can't speak on it that well.
Elliot?
Yeah, no, same here. I haven't seen The Room nor the James Franco retelling or the movie version of The Room. Yeah, the artist. Yeah, the disaster artist. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Fantastic Mr. Fox losing Best Animated Feature to Up boggles my mind, and I like Up. Were those the same year? I did not know they were the same years. If so, I haven't seen Fantastic Mr. Fox. I do need to watch it, but Up is great. I love Up. It's not.
I really enjoy Wes Anderson films for some reason. I think I kind of have to be in that mindset, though. Yeah. I can't just turn it on anytime and just be interested, especially Grand Budapest Hotel. And I watched that when I wasn't, really in that Wes Anderson, mindset. So I was like, oh, man, this movie is it's kind of slow. It's kind of boring. But, I've watched Moonrise Kingdom and really enjoyed it. There's been times I've watched Moonrise Kingdom where I enjoyed it a lot, and then I'm like, this is kind of slow too, So, Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs, though, I really enjoyed. So I would recommend that if you haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. It's a great film.
But at least Wreck-It Ralph and Fantastic Mr. Fox were nominated the Best Animated Movie of 2014, aka the Lego Movie wasn't even nominated.
Understood.
Which was not that year, I wonder.
The Lego Movie is so good. Love the Lego.
I like the Lego Movie. I just understand why it got beat with those other films.
What beat it? What beat it that year?
Didn't it say Wreck-It Ralph and Fantastic Mr. Fox were nominated?
They were nominated, but I'm not sure what.
No, I'm not sure. I think didn't he say Up won?
I think that was that the same year as Mr. Oh, okay. Wait, but I don't think
2014.
Up was not 2014.
Up was way before 2014.
I think that was 2010. Best Animated Feature. Let me look. 2014. No, not 13. 2014. Let me look this up, because I'm not sure. It was Frozen that year.
Frozen.
No, I don't know about that. And then
I would watch Lego Movie before I watch Frozen any day.
Yeah.
2015 was a Big Hero 6, which is great. I loved Big Hero 6. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was well deserved. But,
that's another film that I'm surprised hasn't gotten a sequel yet.
I would have loved.
Yeah, I would a sequel to Big Hero 6. Yes, I need that. I need that in my life.
They had a TV series which was kind of like a sequel. It was.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
Was it any good? I didn't see it.
It wasn't bad. It just I don't know, like cartoon adaptations of movies like that are you're continuously comparing them to the movie. It's just kind of like but it wasn't bad though. It wasn't a bad show.
The show, it was kind of like the first episode was I think it was Baymax or Hero rebuilding Baymax, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I heard. So it was like it took place like at the end of the movie, and then it continued on from there.
Yeah, and it was 2D animation as well, so it was just a little different.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't see it. I didn't watch the show, but I would love to see a sequel to the movie. Godzilla King of the Monsters was almost good, but almost all the humans were awful, so it made the movie kind of unenjoyable despite the great action. I agree. Yeah, the action wasn't fantastic, like you guys are saying, in my opinion, but it wasn't. The human element killed it. The entire movie for me. It made it such an unenjoyable movie. Actually, Big Hero 6 won in 2015, but since the Oscars are the year after, it's a 2014 movie, meaning, yeah, I like the Lego movie more than Big Hero 6. I wouldn't say that, actually.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I like Big Hero 6 a bit more than Lego movie. But they're
Same
both
here.
great. They're both great. And then Mega Fan saying, "Man, I'm really the only one in the chat. It looks like you are." But yeah, that's gonna looks like we're caught up with the entire chat unless somebody sends in something last minute. I think we'll call it a stream there. Thanks so much, AJ and Elliot, for joining the stream. Real quick, let everybody know where they can find you on the internet, on your socials, and what do you have coming up on your channel.
Yeah, man. I mean, first and foremost, again, thank you for having me on. Like I said, I've been watching these for a while, and like I said, honored to be on one of these lives and chatting it up with you guys, chopping it up, talking about movies and all that fun stuff. So yeah, in regards to where you can find me, I'm on the YouTubes at Movie Files. All your latest streaming movies, TV shows, watch-alongs, all that fun stuff is available on a weekly basis at Movie Files. And then on Instagram, I'm at Movie Files as well. It's pretty much an extension of my YouTube, but I do put up some smaller mini reviews on films and TV shows and things of that nature, and Insta story, stories about casting and all that stuff. So follow me on Instagram as well. And yeah.
All right. What do you have coming up for us on your YouTube?
Weekly recap reviews of Perry Mason on HBO Max, which will be tonight. My Doom Patrol reviews every Thursday. This Friday, there's really not a lot coming out, so I have a Q&A on Saturday at 3 p.m. just for a milestone, just crossing my channel. So doing that, and then in the few following weeks, Umbrella Academy season 2, I have a screener for that. So I'm going to be checking that out here in a little bit and having a review for that. So yeah, those are the things to come.
All right, awesome. And then AJ, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on YouTube. I am for social media. I'm primarily on Instagram. All AJ Reacts to one word. And what I have coming up, I don't have any videos coming up until August 5th, and then I'm going to start dropping videos regularly, definitely on Wednesdays, maybe more, but definitely every Wednesday you'll get something from me. So I'm excited to start that back up.
And do you think we can get a sneak peek as to what you have in store for us on August 5th?
I'm going to keep that a secret. I know I'm going to, I can say that I am going to drop a Hamilton review, just my thoughts. I know some people have, been asking about that. I haven't really said anything yet. So
yeah.
I am going to just give my complete and total thoughts on Hamilton. So be looking forward to that.
That is fair. As for me, you can find me everywhere at Certain Vids. That's one word, no uppercase. That is all lowercase. Certain Vids, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, and YouTube, obviously, which you're already at. Cartoon Fan, real quick, saying, what do you feel about the Last Airbender? Haven't seen a lot of it, but I know people say it's a great show. So definitely do need to check it out. It's on Netflix. But as far as new content is concerned, I do have a Guardians of the Galaxy review coming probably Tuesday. I'm going to try to get that out Tuesday, part of my MCU Rewatch series. I've got top 5 favorite movies of the year so far. That's going to be on Friday. This Saturday, going to do a special, have a same live stream. I usually do these Sundays, but because we're going to have the two hosts of Talkin' TV, which Elliot, I know you've collabed with them in the past. They're going to be joining the stream. Saturday works best for them, so we're going to have the stream this Saturday instead of Sunday. And then on Sunday, I'm just going to go solo, and I'm going to rank all the Spider-Man movies, just like Jaren did yesterday. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be my definitive ranking, because I haven't really updated my ranking since last year, and the one from last year is completely outdated at this point. So those are going to be my updated thoughts. And there's one big project that I've talked to AJ about, and it's coming soon. Or as soon as we reach 250 subs, I will reveal that. So stay tuned for that. But thanks everybody.
It's exciting stuff.
It is. It's very exciting. I know I've talked to Age about that, but no, I'm super hyped for that. And thanks everybody who stuck around for the stream. It means a lot. If you did enjoy, click the subscribe button. If you haven't already, click that like button. It helps the stream out. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, have a great rest of your day and stay positive.
Later.